Hey, hey, hey. Let me make sure I got my sound turned down. Any surprises? Looks like the audio is going here. Let's see. All right. I think we're going to be okay here. Looks like another good show. Scotch for Dummies. Thanks for much for letting me do the lead in. And it's always fun to see those guys do the Jeopardy thing. It's kind of funny. Sometimes the delay, though, makes it a little bit difficult to work with, but works pretty well. It was definitely entertaining, and I need to get some coins at some point. It's a nice idea. It's good to hear them having a cask 2 come out, and I'll be looking forward to getting my number 15 that I had on the first round. So that's the plan. Hey, Moose. Thanks so much for stopping by. We're going to take a look at a couple new ones here, new to me at least. I've got two more that I cannot get my hands on yet as far as this whole Game of Thrones series deal. I'd love to get my hands on the Royal Nagar 12 and the Klein Leash. I think it's a Select Reserve, I think is the title of it. Either way, I've heard the Klein Leash is spectacular. I'd love to be able to try it. That's the goal. I do love the Klein Leash 14, so that's going to be definitely something to look forward to. Not sure if I'll ever find it for a reasonable price. I'm certainly not going to pay $300, $400 for it. There's no way. Especially when the retail is like literally $60, $70. I mean, come on. I can understand marking it at maybe, $20, $30 premium. $100 if it's like some special, Ardbeg Lord of the Isles or some, crazy thing that was only released once like 10 years ago, but something that just came out that might actually even have more releases of. These guys are crazy. I'm just saying. Hey, Bobby, good to see you, man. And Mose, good to see you too. The only one I've gotten so far is Lagavulin 9. Still want to pick up the Talisker and the Klein Leash. Yeah, Talisker I can vouch is really good. That was surprisingly different than the Talisker. It's not like the 10, the Diller's edition, or the 18, or the Storm even. It's quite sweet for a Talisker. It still has the maritime, briny, salty notes, but it doesn't have the pepper, which is – it has some white pepper, but it's extremely tame when it comes to most of the other Taliskers out there. I still enjoyed it. A good sweet profile. I like a sweet dram every once in a while, and it definitely hit my sweet spot right in the bullseye. Good to see a Trooper in Santa too. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to take a look at a distillery that I have had a great experience with, and a surprising I don't want to say not so great, just not in my wheelhouse experience, and that's Cardhu. The first one I had was their 12, and fell in love with it. I really like that whiskey. I gave it like 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really well done for a 12-year. Pretty complex for what it is, and pretty much hit all the right notes in the right time. When I did the 18, though, which, age typically helps a whiskey out a lot, it went toward a more heavy floral herbal spectrum, and that's not really what I'm looking for myself. If you'd like a floral herbal complex dram, then the Cardhu 18 might be for you. I was looking for more either like a sweetness, saltiness, even maybe a little balance of bitter notes with it. Just didn't get any real strong flavor other than your florals and your herbals. So hopefully this one will be a bit different. I have already had some of this to try to get past the neck pour, which you might hear some people talk about. Your first, when you crack that bottle open, the first, part of the neck when you get it, it's kind of like similar, not it's the toxicity, but the idea of like heads on moonshine. You want to kind of get rid of the heads on it, and I think the same kind of thing applies to whiskey. Sometimes that first, thing from the bottle isn't the best. Once you're 2 or 3 drams down, it's got, you definitely don't want it to be over oxidized by any means, but you want it to have a little bit of, breath going on to it. So I think that helps. So I like to get it down a little bit. So we've already had a few of those. And as well, we're going to be looking at the Glenrothes, this new one. It's a 2004. Just was released April of 2018, I believe, was the official date. And interesting bottle. They go for more of a rounder look. It's decent presentation, and it has an age statement, which is always nice. It was done in April. Looks like, sorry, the January the 20th of 2017, and released. I'm sorry, let me reverse that. March the 4th of March. I'm sorry, the dates in Britain are always backwards, and it throws me way off. It's March the 22nd of 2004 was the distillation date. The bottling date was January 20th, 2017. So there you go. 13 years, almost 14 years. I thought I saw the date of being 2018. So I was going with 14 years, but I guess technically you could call it a lucky 13-year-old whiskey. 43%, and I have had some samples via the expo. Glenrothes came in and didn't hear great things about their old line, but their new line actually was good, and I am looking forward to having this. I don't know if we actually had this one at the expo at all. And as far as this goes, this is a 40, straightforward 40%, which I wish it was a 43, but you got to get what you can sometimes. The series overall for the Game of Thrones has actually been decent. The Glendoulin, even, I think that might have been another 40%. I have to look to be sure, but even the more lower end ones were actually not bad. I haven't had a bad bottle yet. You definitely had to work your little magic with a couple of drops of water on it, but sometimes that happens. And the same happened with the Dalwhinnie. It had a couple iffy drips, taste wise, maybe a little sourness on the back end. But a couple drops, even with the 40 or 43%, sometimes it really does help with that. And the Dalwhinnie Winter's Frost actually became it went from like a 2.75 up to a 3.5, 3.75 whiskey just for adding a couple drops of it. So you never know. Anyway, let's get into the Cardhu first, because I think that the Glenrothes is going to be a little more flavor, a little more complexity going on just by the profile and the age difference. So, you get a nice combination of sweetness and floral notes on the nose of the Cardhu Gold Reserve, like a honeysuckle. Remember a little when I was like 5, going picking honeysuckle down at the end of the street, and you take the pistils, I guess you call them, out, and you can eat them. Has that kind of fragrance to it. Get a little bit of heather. I want to say maybe a little juniper even too. Nothing deep, heavy like lavender or lilac. Thankfully, it's you get some fruit also right in your face. Some really nice oranges. Some vanilla cream. Huh. To give a little, give the nostrils a little rest. Hey, Dave, you're using your concourse's name. You might want to change that. Good to see you. Looks like I don't know. Maybe that's mom using Dave's account. Oh, you're on the concourse's account, Mom. You might want to give that a switcheroo. Say hello to my mom, guys. It's really her in Kentucky. Oh, she's working on classes. Yeah. Oh, man. Bad influence. Get some tropical notes on this, which is nice. A pleasant, better complexity than the regular 18. The good thing about this one is I do get more fruit on this than I got on the 18, which is a pleasant experience. It's almost got a little bit of a marshmallow kind of a thing going on too with the pineapple, some white grapes. Huh. Not bad. I like the nose so far. For 40% too, it's got a lot going on. It's surprisingly 40. Now, that scares me on the taste. The viscosity is a little runny, and I'm not surprised being that low ABV. It's probably going to have a thin to medium mouth coat, I'm guessing. Let's take a sippy. That is extremely thin. That's unfortunately one of the thinnest mouth coats I think I've had. Wow, that's surprising. But for 40, not so surprising. That's kind of the only downside to dealing with 40%. As you know, you're in for a really, really thin, watery mouth coat. It's got a little dark, like some toffee, even maybe a little sulfur matchstick thing going on. Not as heavy as the Glendulin of the series. The Glendulin has a really thick matchstick sulfury thing going on. This one's got more. It's more on the behind notes, which is nice. You do get some caramel, toffee. I'm not really getting my fruit though. I'm hoping. I dig a little deeper. Maybe some slight oranges. Not as sweet as I was hoping. It's got kind of a savory kick going on the side. It's funny, even though the mouth coat's really thin, it's got a oily kind of a taste to it, if that makes any sense. I'm not sure how to explain it. It's like the thickness isn't there, but if you could get a buttery taste without the thick coating of a butter, just the flavor, it almost sounds like a movie popcorn butter flavor, but it's strange without the viscosity being there. Yeah, 40 ABV is I think what's making this kind of tough. Now, flavor-wise, it's not bad. I wish that the fruit was more prominent. That is one thing that isn't there. It does have some nice, like I want to say like some dark pastry. Trying to think of something to compare it to. Almost like a Danish. Doesn't have the spice though. It's missing cinnamon. It's missing like nutmeg, things like that. It's a tough one. The nose I enjoy better than the palate. The palate's not bad, but there's a lot of things lacking. It's missing a lot of things, which is kind of sad. Thankfully, I mean, there's no off-putting notes. There's nothing sour or bitter going on. It does have that matchstick burn, that sulfur thing. Maybe a little leather on the palate, but not as much as like a Springbank or anything like a Dunnage Warehouse deal. I do enjoy the toffee, the sweet caramel notes to it. It's easy to drink, but that's really what this is for someone, I think, that is a bourbon fan, that's not really looking for any sherry, not looking for any peat, just wants to make that bridge gap from your bourbons, because that's what it really reminds me of, is a bourbon without the corn. which is kind of pleasant for me because I'm not a corn drinker. But if you took a nice, decent bourbon and gave it to somebody and said, okay, now try this on the side, and if as long as they like the malted barley kind of a taste, which it does have, with all that kind of dark, chewy sweetness, then I think they would dig it. It's kind of a nice blend of the savory and the sweet, because it started off being savory and now it's getting a little sweeter, sugary wise. But I wish it did have spice, and I wish it did have a thicker viscosity, and I wish it did have maybe some either more sweetness or more fruit, something else to give it more of a complexity deal. Tough one. If I had to rate this, let's see, finish wise, it does have a real, almost like a burnt caramel finish to it. Is it ideal? No. But is it like short and dry? Not overly. It's okay. I'm thinking that this is overall a nice average, much better than lots of scotch I've had, and I've had a lot over this past couple of years. Everything from Glen Spey to Glen Ord. Oh man, all the wacky one-offs, Elisa Bay and Avenderg and all these. It's like it's definitely much better than a lot of those that I've tried. And unfortunately, a lot of those are tough because they're independent bottlings too. So you got to think of it as you got two things affecting it. You've got the distillery and you've got the independent bottling. So you never know how different the regular distillery bottle is going to be unless you get your hands on one, which I do plan on revisiting some of those, like Glen Keith and Tormore. Glen Turret was a good independent bottling. I'm really looking forward to seeing what their regular distillery stuff tastes like. But anyway, not bad, not fantastic, but for its price point, which I think was around 40 to 50, if I remember correctly, it's a solid scotch, a good, very good entryway to new scotch drinkers. I give it a 3 out of 5. I think it's fair. Really like the nose. The nose is one of my favorite things about it. The palate's like second. The finish is a little short, and the sulfuric burning matchstick thing is lingering around with that caramel and that sweetness, and I'm just not sure if it's what I'm looking for in my finish. So that's the reason why I'm kind of, hey Kenneth, really good to see you, man. Hope you're having fun. If you guys are having fun, give me a like if you don't mind, and subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate it. Overall, decent sipping whiskey though, and I'm thinking it's easier to deal with than the Glendullan because you had to mess with the water a lot on that one. Just to be fair, let's put a couple drops on it just to see if it does anything. And sure enough, I forgot my pipe. I'll be right back here. I've got it back here somewhere. There it is. Oh, my. You gotta love that. Sorry about that. I thought I was prepared, but I had the water, but I didn't have the device. But we're talking 40%, and usually I wouldn't even bother, but I have noticed that some whiskeys, and not to compare this with King Alexander from Dalmore, but that is one that really helps with a couple drops. But I mean, like, literally just a couple drops just to get the molecules flowing, the blood pumping, that kind of deal. The Glenrothes is a 2004 whiskey. It's a 13-year statement. Yeah, it's a little adventurous. It definitely, I think, gives it it at least gets. It's kind of like looking, to me, whiskey is like looking at a sphere. And when you approach the sphere initially, The first thing you see, of course, is the color and the thickness, the mouth coat of what it's going to be like, the if it's chill filtered or not, and you get an idea of what it is, right? But in order, I think, for you to see the other side of the moon, like the dark side of the moon, you have to put a couple drops on, and that's the way you turn the whiskey around the other side and get the different profile from it. Because in the first go, you'll get maybe some, like on this one, I got a little bit of fruit on the nose. I got a lot of like the sugary stuff, the caramels, the toffees, the butterscotches, things like that on the palate. Now, if you want to try to dig out the florals or maybe more sweetness, like more fruit, or maybe something different, just like a bitter note or sour note or something else, you might get surprised with what you get when you put a couple drops. That turns that sphere around where you can get, I think, the 360 experience of what that whiskey has to offer. Because I guarantee you, if you just go in and buy a Dalmore King Alexander as a good example of this, you pour it, you experience it neat, you're going to enjoy it, but you're not going to enjoy it near as much as if you don't sit down and put 1 or 2 drops on it after you've done it neat, after you let it oxidize for a good 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Spend your time with it, take your time, and that, I think, is really a overall better experience with it. Uh-oh. Moose thinks I'm seeing things. No, I'm just saying that you got to look at it from, to really experience something, you have to look at it from every angle. And I think to get every angle on a whiskey, you have to not afraid to put a couple of drops, even if it's 40%, 43%. I know it sounds sacrilegious. I know it's ridiculously crazy, but it does help. It really does. I'm not sure if it helps in the world of bourbons or Canadian whiskey, Irish stuff. I can only speak to Scotch because that's what I know and that's what I do. But it really helps with digging other notes out that you didn't really necessarily get the first time around. And ironically, it's already happened with this. Now, I still enjoy the nose, but the nose has become more floral and more, instead of the honeysuckle, now I'm getting more of a hay straw, like a grassy knoll kind of thing going on. Sweetness is still there, thankfully, so I don't think it's going to completely change the profile like sometimes water does that. And as long as you're safe and you use literally a couple of drops, especially if it's low ABV, you might just dig out a couple more of the floral stuff. But I'm not really looking for that myself. I was hoping to get more fruit. I'm not getting it on the nose. See if it'll be on the palate, maybe. See, on this one, I'm not getting more fruit, but I am getting more cream. I'm getting more vanillas. It has toned that toffiness and the sulfuric note down, and I'm getting more of the creamy vanillas, the almost like a now it has more of a bourbon cask kind of a feel to it. It's just as good as it was before. It hasn't lost anything. It is a little different. Brought a little complexity out of it. It's still, unfortunately, it's still the low, thin mouthfeel. It still lacks some of those character of the spice I was looking for. But it does give me more of a journey, the adventure. Richie says, can you do a tasting of a random sample tonight? I could, actually. I could. I've got a couple ideas maybe that we might be able to dig out, possibly. Lochner says, I found Delmore way overpriced. Good whiskey, but priced too high, like McKellen too. Yeah, you're not off on that, Lochner. I'm sure I'm going to get some thumbs down on from Diageo on this one, or whoever does. I think is Dalmore at Diageo, or is that a different? I can't remember who does them, but anyway, the with Dalmore and Macallan, it's like they are very high priced on their juice. 15 and 18-year-old prices are crazy on both distilleries. It's a shame. I hope it comes down over time, but you know, with Macallan, I guess Dalmore is the same. If people are going to pay it, that's why they can charge it. So I just thank God I don't have a taste for their Lalique, some of that Macallan Lalique, the real high end reflection stuff and all that. I mean, you're talking crazy money, and for like Dalmore, like the Constellation series, holy Jesus, that's like lottery winning whiskey. that's like you've you decided that to retire and you don't really care about anything. That kind of whiskey. So not bad. I got a little banana now on this one. It's gone a little. It's becoming monkey shoulder esque, I should say, on the tail end of this one. Not a bad experience. I think I'm going to keep my three. I might go to 3.25. I'm feeling a little generous here. The water does make it fun. Huh. Tasty. Not overly complex, of course, but it's not sold for that purpose. And I do enjoy it actually more than the Cardhu 18. Don't tell anybody, but the 12 and this guy are actually better. I don't necessarily like this more than the 12 though. I think I will stick, if I'm going to buy a Cardhu, I'm going to go for the 12. I think it's just it has the sweet spot for everything, but not a bad dram at all. Anyway, moving on. Perfect timing. What are you guys drinking tonight? Sorry I didn't ask you guys earlier. I've been in Kenneth says Singleton's not moving near me. Someone's gonna cook a pizza. Yeah, you gotta be careful with the pizza. If you ever watch Food Quig, who is the guy that does the after show for the Scotch Test Dummies, he's in Victoria, I believe, British Columbia. He he's had a couple mishaps with doing the pizza and completely obliterating his palate. So if you're going to go for the pizza, you're going to have to, make sure it's at the tail end of your journey. Richie says he still needs to try the cigar malt. It's pretty good. There's a couple versions. There's the old one, which I heard is better. It's hard to find though. And then there's the new cigar malt reserve. And it's actually, I've had it and it's actually pretty good. It's not a bad dram at all. Do I enjoy it more than the King or the 18? And the 18 is my favorite actually of the Dalmore stuff that I've had. No, it does have some nice tobacco notes. It probably goes really well with a cigar if you smoke. But for me, I love the Dalmore 18. It's got the best savory meets sweet profile. It's got the dark chocolate. It's got all the fruits. It's got some sourness, but it's also got some really nice sweetness balanced with a lot of different things going on. And I think it's pretty good. Is it priced fairly though? That's a whole other story. But I do enjoy having that. Richie says he's having a second point of burnt toast Deanston. Yeah, and happy pre-Burns night to everybody. Tomorrow night is Burns night. Look it up if you're not familiar with it. Poet from Scotland, well regarded, and if you ever sing Auld Syne for New Year's, then you know a Robert Burns tune. Yeah, I think 18 is their underrated bottle for sure. it doesn't get a lot of love. Santa Cruz, I'm with you on that Lafroig 15. That's one of my favorites of all time. Even though it's not one of their peaty ones, and most people love Lafroig for its peat. If you're looking for something that does have peat, but is definitely just got a great flavor, reminiscent of like a Glen Scotia 15. It's got the cola notes. It's got some really nice sweetness melded with that peat. It's got the age. It's got a good ABV on it. I mean, that's a solid whiskey that unfortunately is discontinued, but hopefully I can find some sometime. That's one of the very few bottles I don't have back here. I've got an 18 and a lower and an Aquamore, but of course no 15. I have had it before. I've had it at an expo. I've had it at a tasting from Lafroig when they were in town, and had a sample. I've had it a few times, but never had my own bottle, man. If someone could find some for me, let me know. I would go crazy just to try to get some over here in Maryland. It would be nice. All right, let's do the next one here. Let's go for the Glenrothes, the 2004, which is the 13-year-old. Now, before we leave the Cardhu, let's see if there's anything I was missing. We pretty much talked about everything that we could about that, and let's move on. Now, this guy is a Speyside, and it's matured in sherry seasoned American oak. Selected by a malt master. Their guy is Gordon Motion, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I'm probably butchering it. Sorry, Gordon. Bottled at 43%, and there's only 3150 for the U.S. market. So not a very high number of bottles produced for this, surprisingly. Ex-sherry American oak. That's a nice little combo. I do love my sherry, and I do love my oak. Hey, Robert. Someone stopping by, it looks like, that I missed. Probably going by a different name or something there. Anyway. See, now this is where it's at. I mean, comparatively, there's no comparison. That right out of the gate, the nose on this I really, really like, because not only do I get the sweetness out of the gate, I do get the sherry, I get the cinnamon, I get my spices, and I also get my sugars, my caramels, and my more molassesy notes in the nose. And some fruit, like figgy. I get some really figgy, good, gingery goodness in there. Moose has never had a Glenrothes. Yeah, be careful with Glenrothes, Moose. Make sure if you do it, it's a newer offering. I don't know what the older ones look like, but this is a newer box. It's kind of got this look to it, and I have not had personally the old stuff. I've heard stories that it was not that good. And the funny thing was, was one of the first ones to try it at the expo. And when the Scotch for Dummies and I were kind of trailing around, I talked to Andrew, and Andrew can vouch for me for this. After trying it and studying their stuff, I said, Andrew, you really need to give them a try. I think you'd be surprised at how much better it is than the old stuff. And sure enough, when he had it, they had a few different things, and they got to talking with the guy that ran the booth up there. But I think he came around to be a very big supporter of their new line. So, and Andrew's like me. We like assertive flavor. We don't care if it's peated or sherried or whatever the profile is, but it just needs to have some girth to it. It's got to have a little, meat on the bones. It can't be watery, thin, vague kind of stuff. And this is, it might not be a sherry bomb when it comes to like an Abelard or Abinant or one of the crazy like Malkellen edition 2, like really heavy sherry bomb deals, but it's got enough in there to make a good balance and a good flavor with the American oak. I think it's a good blend. not blended Scotch, but you know what I mean, blend of flavor of the profile. Really love that nose. It is reminiscent of a good Macallan to me. Nothing bitter or sour or off-putting. And it's got a little extra oomph. I mean, it's only I think it's 43, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, 43. It's only got a few more percent, but it's just enough, I think, to give it a better mouth coat. Let's take a look here. Yeah, now, when you're talking color, let's talk about that for a second. This, my friends, on the Cardhu is colored. It's E150. There is no doubt in my mind. I don't even have to look it up. I can tell by looking at it how dark it is. And if it was natural, I think that they would put a number on it for a year statement. It'd be a minimum 12, if not a 15, to be that dark. And it would probably have a sherry cask involved, which I don't think this does. Don't quote me on it. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be straightforward, either European oak or American oak on the Cardhu. Now, on this guy, this I'm not surprised if it is natural color, because we are talking, you know, a sherried deal. But it is, you know, sherry seasoned, which when I hear seasoned, I'm thinking, well, how much is really involved with it? I get it on the nose by far, so that's a good sign. Let me look and see if there's anything on the deal. I mean, sometimes, you know, if it's natural color, they're going to tell you. I'm looking at some notes here to see if there's anything out of the ordinary, but bottled in Scotland, Berry Brothers and Red is the bottler. Not really anything stated. So, yeah, I mean, for sherry influence and for a 13-year statement, it's not out of the question, but could there be coloring? Yes. It's kind of one of those. This one's going to be tougher, I think, to determine. Most is asking about the comparison between this and the Glengoyne, and I'll get to that in a second. Lockness says E150A for sure is still tasty. Yeah, I think you're on that. I think you're around the money. I think there might be a little coloring in this, but it's not it's not overdone. And I won't get into distilleries that do that, but you already know who I'm talking about. Really, really well done palate. Oh, they got that right amount of sweetness. They got the right amount of spice. The cinnamon nutmeg comes through. Apple Danish is there. I get my apples, which I didn't get as much on the Cardhu. I wanted more of a fruity profile with the sweetness. I still get my toffee and my caramel, which I had here, but I also get it here. And the end is a little dry. Let's have another sip just to make sure. A little black pepper, but good. Nice and spicy. The mouth coat is it's still on the thin side for me, but it's a little bit better than this guy. I will say that. Now, your question about a comparison, these are not really comparable whiskeys to me, because the Glenrothes has a lot more spice, I think, than a Glengoyne does. Glengoyne does really good with the toffee, and the caramelization, and the fruit profiles are there similarly, but there's a lot more spice, a little more pepper on a Glenrothes with it. If you don't mind a little spice and pepper on your dram, if you added that to Glengoyne, this would be comparable, I think, to a a 12 to 15-year-old. I think it'd be a good shootout comparison. Complexity, I think I might go with the Glenrothes one. The flavor of the Glengoyne's really good, though. The mouth profile on Glengoyne's I find a little thin. On this guy, I think it's comparable. It's thicker than the 40, but not quite as good as a 46 to 48, which I think is perfection. Really nice. Whiskey says Telex might have got himself a nicer pick. Pick between what though? Let's see. I'm trying to backtrack here. The Glenrothes we get around here are extremely light colored. Huh. Yeah, if they're extremely light colored, usually, then this might be a natural because it is sherry seasoned. But that's a tough one. I don't want to say by definite because it's not on the bottle. It's not. Let me take a look on the box here to make sure I'm not missing anything. Let's see. Just doing a quick read of. Bottle is the peak of its maturity and flavor rather than a predetermined age. Distillation is unusually slow and takes place as tall stills, which delivers a sweet, clear, fruity spirit. Maturation is in American oak and Spanish oak cask, which produce our award-winning Speyside malt. Now, I didn't talk about the Spanish on my notes, so it's a combination of American and Spanish oak. That's interesting. All of our malt is vintage whiskey, representing a single year of collection of years. Our single vintage is limited in where each capture unique essence of flavor. Our reserves give you the opportunity of enjoying a number of selected vintages from different years married together in perfect harmony. Blah, blah, blah. I'm looking to see if there's anything on the color or anything else that we might want to know. And I talk about Berry Brothers and Rudd, which I am familiar with them doing some independent bottlings, but I did not know that they are the basically the owners of this deal. And no, I don't really get a sense. So I'm thinking there's probably just a little bit of color just to give it a little bit of a oomph, but not enough to make it just overblown crazy out of the. But 13 years, good profile, I have to say. The ABV on this is 43. The Glenrothes and the 40 on the Cardhu Santa. Agnes did the 12, 15, 18 in cask strength. Yeah, very well done there. I like all those. My favorite's the cask strength. I do like the 18 a lot too. 21 I've had. It's good. Not sure if I like it enough to justify the price difference between the 18 and 21, but that's a whole other story. We'll have to revisit that at some point. The bottle shape is making it look darker. Yeah, I think that does maybe help the darkness because it has this, like, if you look on the bottom of the bottle, it's got this like raised deal that goes up inside, and it kind of like pushes the liquid up. And I'm not sure if that makes a difference on the color and how it appears, but pretty wild how that is how that works. It probably like almost like compresses it, I'm thinking, in a weird way. Whiskey's asking about the price. Now, the Glenrothes. Let me see if I remember correctly here. Give me 1 second. 65 on the 2004. 65 in the 2004, and I think it was about the same on this guy. Let me see something. I might have an old receipt here. This is a different different bottle, but either way, yeah, great price, $65 on the Glenrothes. I think it's a very, very well priced whiskey. 14, 13 years, we'll say 13-year whiskey for $65. It's comparable to a Glendronach as far as price, 12-year-old. Um, I think it's got a good flavor profile that's up to snuff with a Glendronach 12. If you don't want something as berry-like, because the Glendronach 12 is very strawberry, raspberry-ish to me. This has got a little more emphasis on the spice pepper notes. So if you like maybe a Talisker mixed with the Glendronach ideal of it, like if you're thinking, I like my fruit, but I want some spice with it, then that's where a Glenrothes, I think, really comes into play. I do wish it was a little bit higher in ABV. The Oogie, yeah, I love the Oogie. That's one of my favorites. That one's been long gone. That's one of my favorite bottles of all time. It's definitely top 5 of all time whiskey, especially core offerings. If I had to like pick, what's my 5 favorite whiskeys that are part of a core, easy to find every day, it's got to be top 3 actually. The Uigeadail, because out of the Ardbeg core, the Uigeadail is my favorite. Out of the Laphroaig core, the Loire is my favorite. The Bunnahabhain core, the 18 is tight. The price makes it tough. The 12 is great for what it is. The 18 is, really solid, but the 12 is just, it's almost just as good. I hate to say it, but it really is. And for the Springbank, the 12 cask strength, I think is a solid core, easy to get bottle. And they're all around $100 pretty much, with the exception of the Bunnahabhain 12 and 18 or 60 versus like I think a 130 or something like that. Yeah, Kilkerran 12 is a great core. Talisker 10 is the best of the core, I think, there. Highland Park 18, hard to find anymore. The old version, I haven't tried any of the Viking Honor Pride series. I might have to do some new reviews on that later on if I'm feeling nostalgic and going back to Highland Park. We'll see about that. Though there's lots of no, the Loire is core range. Dark Cove was a limited release, yes, but the Laphroaig Loire is a core offering right now. Will it always be part of their core? Maybe not. If they get enough to do a 15 or 18 again, that would be ideal. I'd love to see the 15 come back, especially if it's the same profile, and the 18 likewise. But the Loire is the top tier bottle they offer in their core for Laphroaig. The Lechaig 18. I think it's 18. Was that 15? Hold on. Yeah, 18. Sorry. Lechaig 18. Solid bottle. Let's see. As far as other like Ballblair's 99, I like a lot. The Longmore 16. Glenmorangie La Santa. I haven't had too much of the Tomatin to pick a core yet. Akatoshan is I like the 3-wood a lot. American Oak's probably my favorite though, out of their core stuff. Balvenie, the double wood 17 is solid, good stuff. As is the Caribbean 14, great core offering there. Old Pulteney's new 15 is solid. If you can't find the old 17 or 21, go for the new 15, not the new 18. I did not prefer that as much as the 15. I think that pretty much sums up a lot of the Glenfarclas 17. I think it's the 17. Yeah, that was really good. Cheaper than 25, a little better than the typical 10 or 12. Solid. I think that pretty much sums up a lot of my just doing it. Santa asked if I had the 25 Laphroaig. Yes, I have. I've done the 25, the 27, the 32, and the 30, I think. A lot of these have been, unfortunately, during expos, which makes it tough to really get a well sit down and enjoy a bottle. I never had a bottle above the 18 of my own. But taste wise, I think the 18 is the pinnacle for Lafroig for me, because I think once you get an older age, like the 27, I thought I was going to love, and I didn't really like it as much as the 18, I think, because of the peak goes down the older an age is, and that's just the nature of whiskey when it comes to any peated whiskey. So I think the 18 is where I like it perfectly. I do enjoy a 10 cast strength sometimes if I want like just a knockout, be peatified or an Ardbeg 10, just peat in my face. That's what I'll go for. If I want a nice refined, well-aged peat that's not too weak, the 18, 15 Lafroigs are perfect. Some of the higher end Ardbegs like the Ardbog, the Caldaltons, the Dark Coves, the Kelpies, the Grooves, those are well done. They're probably 7 to 8 year olds. They're probably not as old as some of the like this, of course the 17 and the 20 something, the 23. The Ardbeg 23 is one of the best whiskeys I've ever had. Period, bar none. End of story. But at $600, it was a sample, so I didn't go out and buy it myself. But tasting it, it's like, wow, that is. If I could afford a bottle, I'd have one at all times. But it's just it depends on how much you have to spend. That's what makes some of these kind of better or worse too, in a way. Lagavulin 12 is way more expensive than Grooves here. Yeah, the Grooves here typically runs, I believe, Ardbeg. Where's my Ardbeg stuff? There it is. Do they still have the Grooves up there? They might have sold out on all theirs. I think it was about 110. But they have Kelpie still for 110 up there. 110 on the Ardbeg specialty, we'll say. And for the Lagavulin 12, that's usually like 130, I think. 120 to 130. Let me see if they have it here. I think they do. Lagavulin 12 is actually, 150. They got two versions, the 2018 and the 20, I want to say the 2017 are both like $149.99. So yeah, it's definitely a $40 difference when it comes to, and the reason for that is the cast strength. If you were talking, if the Ardbeg Grooves was a cast strength whiskey, it would be 150, somewhere on there. But since the Lagavulin 12 is cast strength, the Ardbeg Grooves is not. It's like 48%, I want to say. I think I still have one up here. As a matter of fact, I haven't even opened it. I still have a bottle back there. It's 46% actually. The regular version is 46. Now, the committee release, when it was released, was 51.6. So there you go. Big difference, 51.6 and 46, like night and day on the ABV. So that's enough of right there to justify a huge price difference, in my opinion, because the tax you have to do when you import into America, cast strength whiskey is astronomically higher than it is for lower stuff. That's why the price is so different. GHS is, the CR was 55%, was 130 locally, but sold out before I got. Yeah, it was hard to find. I got lucky on that one. Thanks, Tosh. Got a couple bottles, one for a friend, one for myself, and got it like a 120, I think, when it first was released. Couldn't believe it. And CR had much more oily texture. Yeah, I mean, the thing about what makes committee releases so much better is the cast strength piece of it. And you have, if you just want to add a couple of drops to a cast strength, it's like, better than adding a couple of drops to something that's already 46%. That's That's the bad thing. Santa's saying that the Lefroy 15 was only a sample, like foreplay without the sex. Yeah, I know how you feel on that one, man. I've had a few samples, but it's not like having your own bottle, my friend. The Lefroy guy, Brian, who does DC here in my area, I've been to him a couple times. We went on a boat ride. Lefroy came down in Annapolis where I live, and they took us out on a boat for a while. And we had some Bowmore Dorsmore 3, also known as Tempest 6. We had Lefroy Glore, and we had some Lefroy 10, cast strength, and some other things. Just, messing around. They were going to bring this to Carriages. They didn't get it on the boat in time. So he came back with the Carriages, the new Pheno, the 2018 offering, and had another get-together dinner kind of thing. And he brought the 15 out, and I'm like, how the hell did you find that? He's like, I just went to a store in the border between Maryland and Pennsylvania and just got lucky, and they had it in there. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I love going to like stores, just looking around to see if I could find some like off the wall stuff. That's how I found that 18. I found 2 bottles of 18 for $90. It was crazy. And but he found the 15, and I was like, man, I would kill to get my hands on a 15 bottle of Lefroy. That would be just beyond outstanding. Anyway, let me go back to this one, and I don't know if I gave it a score, but it's good. Definitely a step up because it's got the cinnamon, nutmeg, spicy, black pepper goodness that I want. More complex. Has an age statement of 13 years. Color, I'm not really into that. Chill filtering, I really don't care as long as it tastes good, which it does. I prefer it not be chill filtered, of course, but I'm not gonna. I've learned myself, over the last year to not nitpick things off of stats, nitpick on flavor, character, and really what it is. Nose is better. Palate's a lot better. Finish. Since it is so spicy, that black pepper and the cinnamon nutmeg deal, it doesn't. It's not short. It's not long. It's medium. This was a shorter finish. So that actually is another bonus deal. I think it's a solid 4, maybe even a 4.25. I think a 4.25 is fair. This is more of a 3.25. This is a 4 to 4.25. It really is nice, especially for that price. I mean, that gives it a bonus point right there. So if I stick to the 3 on this is a 4.25, just because not only is it great 4-star whiskey, the price is so well done on the for $65. Jesus, it's great. Okay, Loch Ness. I think if you're still, are you still around Loch Ness? Give me a shout out if you are. I think you were the one that mentioned maybe doing like a blind. Let's just see what we get sample, right? I think you were. Let's go back and look and see what we have on the old shelf here, and see if there's anything sticks out to you that I have not already tried. Oh my! I hate to pick something that is bad. That's always the problem sometimes when you're looking for just a blind sample bottle. But we might get lucky. Let me see something that's empty over there. Let's see. I think I'll be on the Mastering Drums show next Wednesday. Oh, that's cool, Whiskey. We'll have to try to tune in on that one. Let's see. Yeah, Octomores, all of them are good. I did not like the 7.3. That's the only one I didn't like. Wow, I've really done a lot of these already. The Braville one, we've done that one. That was good. I do have a couple really bonusy ones that I don't know if I want to do because he's not here, unfortunately. Oh man. Let's see. I'm looking to see if there's anything. I wish I still had this Dallas Dew. Oh, that was pretty good. I don't think I have any more samples that way. Let's see. I tell you what, Linus, it's going to be tough because the only really thing left I haven't opened. There's a couple things that I can look at. Oh, it was Richie Z who thought about the random sample. Now Stephen Connor, I don't think is with us tonight. He was very, very, very generous and sent me a couple. And these are like unicorn bottles, guys. And that's why I'm kind of like not sure if we even want to go there with these. Even if it was just one of them, I would feel kind of bad if he's not around. And I haven't sent him anything yet, and I need to send him something too. Some salsa, if you know what I mean. He sent a Glendronach 25-year distilled 1992 sherry butt cask 334 58.5 from batch 16. Holy mother of you know what. And then you've got a Glenrothes 25-year sherry butt bottled for the whiskeybarrel.com, distilled in 1993, cask 658, 59.3 ABV. Both Glenrothes, both 25 years young. I mean, damn. That's you talk about a sample. That's a sample. That's like a sample on steroids. Now, I don't know if we should do that because he's not around, and I want him to be around to partake a little with me on that one. Now, there's also a blind test thing that I've been not being able to do lately. I could maybe do. It's kind of something different. We could try it. My friend Prene is a really good friend that loves whiskey as much as I do. He did a little blind thing where he sent me 5 different bottles in A, B, C, D, and E. And let's look and see what he sent originally. Now, from what I remember, I think his deal. Now, this is not necessarily Scotch, which I tend to stick to. Let's look at the old Scotch thing here. Prene. We'll look up Prene blind. Let's see. Let me see if he. Here we go. Let's see. Sample. Oh, man. Give me 1 second here, guys. Sorry about the delay. This could be a tougher find than I thought. Let me see something. 5 samples. Here we go. Okay, so he sent me 5 whiskeys here. One is Indian, one is Swedish, one is Scottish, one is Taiwanese, and one is from America. One is not a whiskey. And he's challenged me to figure out which one's which. I could do that. I don't know. I've had a few, drams tonight. Might be a tough pick, but it might be worth a gamble trying to figure out what is what. Should I do that? Are you guys in the mood for me trying to figure out which one is Indian versus Swedish versus Scottish versus Taiwanese versus American, one not being even a whiskey? I mean, I could try. I should be able to do it, you would think. The tougher one would be probably between Scottish and USA, depending on what the deal is. But, man, we got to get some glasses out for that deal. All right. Might as well have a little fun. Let's do it. I do have to I haven't had any Swedish whiskey, so that's going to be interesting. This is going to be all new to me. I'm probably going to mess this up royally. But let's get the glasses sorted out here so I don't get them cross-contaminated and messed up. We're going to do 5 new glasses completely in front of the deal so I cannot mess this up, hopefully. Whoa, that wasn't good. Thank God for glassware is all I can say. All right. Oh, wow. My wife tomorrow is going to be like, what the hell did you do? Okay. Palate cleanser. So let's have a little water. Hydrate up, my friends. This could be bad. This could be good. Now, just so this is my own take, I'm not saying you should do this for your blind test if you ever get a blind test to do, but I'm just telling you from my last one that I did experience-wise what I think is the best way to approach this. I think last time I messed up and I poured everything out and then tried to nose each one, one after another. This time, I think I'm going to approach it to get it more of a defined separation. I'm going to pour one and sniff that one by itself before I even pour the next one. So let's do it that way. A. Don't want to do too much because I don't want to, And just to make sure I'm doing this properly, let's take some notes on the back of some paper here. That way it's easier to determine what is what. So we have India, we have Sweden, we have Scotland, which should be my favorite. Taiwanese, Taiwan, which, wow. I knew they got into whiskey recently, but I didn't know they were really doing much with it. And we got US of A, which could be a bourbon, but one of these, and I will mark this, is not a whiskey at all. Is it the USA? Is it the Taiwanese? He doesn't tell me, so I got to figure that one out too. Okay, so we got our paper. I got so much stuff on here, I'm going to have to make a little room to do some notes. So let's do A and talk about what we get from the nose. Oh, Kavalan is Taiwanese. Oh, I thought Kavalan was Indian. Isn't Kavalan from India? I could be wrong. Someone tell me, I thought Kavalan was from India. Am I wrong? I'm going by memory here. I'm probably way off, but I thought that was an Indian whiskey. But maybe it is Taiwanese. Oh, is it Taiwanese? Emirate is Indian, yeah. Kevin is Taiwan. Okay, cool. All right. Well, there you go. I have had the sad thing is I've had the only Kavalan I had was a really good one. I want to say it's called the Soloist. The VIN. Oh, how do you say it? I don't want to butcher the name. The Vinic. I can't remember. It was a Soloist. It was really good. Had a lot of toffee, brown sugary notes, dark, spicy. I think it ran like the $300 range. Very well done. Was it worth that high price though? I don't know. It was good, but man, it's a tough one. I got a sample of the $400 Soloist, something for myself. Yeah, I think it was something like that. Now, A is heavy on the fruit. Huh. Yeah, Paul John I know is an Indian one, so that's probably the one he or Emirate, either one. Emirate or Paul John are the Indian ones that he might have went with. Huh. Ironically, now that I'm saying that, this one has a fruit heavy, a Paul John-esque nose. Now, I'm not saying that yet. If you're watching Prairie, I'm not saying that this is the Indian one yet, but so far the nose, the profile definitely has a really nice, deep, fruity. And I have experienced some Paul Johns before. Thanks, Tosh, by the way, if you ever watch. Lana Lou had some Cavalier Sherry Cask strength. Oh, I bet that's damn good. I wish she would come out and share. Lana, if you're out there, Lena, I'm not sure how you pronounce her name. I'll say Lana probably. Please, if you're ever in DC, let me know so we can like split share some different offerings, because I'm sure you've got your hands on some stuff that's really good out there. This even got some cashew notes, some nutty notes in the background too, which is it's interesting because the fruit's in your face, then it goes into like some nuttiness. And I'm not sure if that's another profile of an Indian whiskey. I want to think it is, though. I'm thinking that the ABV is probably 43 to 46 is my guess, just off the nose. 43 to 46, I'm thinking. I'm going to change it after I taste it. I can't tell about the age, though. I don't sense a very aged whiskey. Could be wrong, though, with those nutty notes. What I'm not used to smelling might be from age, though. Tucking myself into it. All right, let's see. Ooh. Wow, that is good. A is definitely a whiskey. It's definitely a whiskey. No doubt in my mind. Wow, that is nice. I like that profile. It's got some spicy notes to it, too. Let's see, mouth coat wise. It's got a nice little mouth coat to it. I'm still thinking 43 to 46. Nice little spice to it, not overbearing, a little dry. That's the strange thing. It's a little dry on the finish. Not bad. It's got like some nice caramely notes to it. The mouth coat is, I'd say, medium to thin. Medium to thin. Not bad. If I had to put a price on it, the age is probably not older than a 12. It's probably about, let's see. It's damn good, though. I love that nutty profile with the fruit. Oh my! I think it's about. I mean, it's kind of thin on the mouth coat, but I'm thinking it's 46% ABV, and it's probably around 12-ish. I'm thinking. I don't think it's American. I don't even think it's Scottish. The Swedish thing is going to throw me way off. I don't think it's, I think it's either Indian or Taiwanese, and I'm leaning towards Indian. So I'm kind of like, that's what I'm going to mark down for now. This could change. This is the way I like to do it. All right. The sad thing is, guys, after I do all this, I'm not going to know if I'm right or not until I write to Pranny and tell him what I think. But I will. I'll come back in the comments and come back and see if you know the. I'll write down what he says if I'm right or wrong or whatever. Hydrate, my friends. Gotta hydrate. All right. It's time for a little bee action here. Color is much lighter than this one. This one had a really nice amber color. This one's a little lighter. This one's a little more light gold, I'd say. Let's see here. Wow. I love this kind of stuff. This is like, if you don't think this is fun, there's something wrong with you. I got to return the favor to Pranny at some point. I've got so many little salsa deals I got to get ready. It's not funny. Wow. Now this has no drop at all. It is like a solid line. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that, but this thing has no leg at all. It's like one solid line around. Now it's all of a sudden dropping. It's like the slowest run I've ever seen almost. That's a good sign, actually, I think, about it being a little heavier on the thickness because it held up before it started dropping, and when it drops the legs, it drops it really slow, all at a similar like pace, which is really slow. All right, this is B. This is a little different. Floral. Ooh, almost greenish. Floral. Greenish, I'll say. Subtle fruit, but very, very subtle. Subtle fruit. Very subtle. Hay, straw. Maybe some white grapes, but looks a little thin now. Started out really really holding up, and now it's really running fast. Interesting. Ooh. Different. I don't think it's a Scotch. Oh my. These are not easy, guys, I tell you. Definitely on the thin mouth coat than I thought. It's thin to medium at most, but more on, I'd say, thin. Not a bad taste. It's just, it seems very young. This might be the Swedish one. I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this might be a Swedish deal. It's got a little bit of marshmallow in there. It's got some spiced, like, pear, light fruits. I'm leaning towards Sweden on this one, but I could change my mind. It doesn't seem bourbony. It does not seem scotchy. It doesn't seem Indian-esque, and it definitely doesn't seem like anything Kavalan would ever release. So I'm thinking it's got for just the weird thing is, I hope he didn't tell me in order because so far he said, so I just checked you had India, Sweden, Scotland, Taiwan, and USA. And so far after tasting it, I'm thinking India and Sweden so far. I hope it's not subliminally like messing with me, but I do think it's young. At this age is probably 5 to 7 years, but it's really tough to say. It's so mild. It's a very mild offering, I'd say. All right, so that's B. So we'll put B together. We'll put A. So good. A together. All right. Let's have a little palate cleanser. Sorry, guys. I know it's taking a little while, but these things take time. You guys still drinking with me? I hope you are. If you're having something, let me know what you are having, if you like it or not, and why. I appreciate it. Let's see. C. Oh my! Hope this is not going to be crazy. Ooh, this is wow. this, now this. Prene, the color on this is white. Look at that. It's like water. That's not a whiskey. That can't be a whiskey. There is no way. Not a whiskey. I can tell by the color alone it's not a whiskey. I don't think, unless he's doing like some sort of like trick thing. But my God, man, that's the clearest whiskey I think I've ever seen in my life. White Dog. Oh man, is there a White Dog whiskey? That is crazy. Woo! It's got a gin-esque. I'm guessing gin because I don't drink a lot of things other than Scotch, but I'm gonna guess it's a gin type of nose. It's got that like juniper. Let's see, juniper slash herbal. Medicinal mint kind of thing going on. Huh, where it's from, who the hell knows? But it's probably American. Oh, ugh. I don't even want to drink it. Oh, Lordy. Loch-Ness is having some Abana, man. I'll trade you this for the Abana. You know you want to. Yeah, this is definitely not whiskey. It's not even close. Oh, Lordy. How do you tell what region it's from? Well, since I'm not a gin drinker or whatever this is, it definitely doesn't smell like vodka. The only other clear liquid like that, I think, is gin. Um, I'll have to do it by, what's the word for it? Elimination. I'll have to eliminate everything else and just say that the area that's left is the one that this is probably. Not my wheelhouse. Oh, Katie might like this, my wife, but this is definitely reminds me of like a gin kind of a taste. It's okay. It's funny. It's not like off-putting. It definitely tastes like other gin that I think I've had before. But is it something that I want to sip on? F no. This was easy to eliminate from being a whiskey, though, I think. If that's a whiskey, man, I'll kiss somebody's ass. That does not taste like a whiskey at all whatsoever. Um, but we'll come back on the region on that one. That's going to be a iffy. We definitely need a palate cleanser after that. That was something else. Listerine Naturals Herbal Mint. I hope to God not. I don't think it was. I think it was a decent gin. It actually didn't taste bad. It's just I just don't like. I just don't like gin. I don't like. If I have a Tom Collins, I want a vodka Collins. I don't want a gin. Tom Collins. I want a vodka Collins. I'm a vodka fan. I don't like gin. So there you go. Anyway, moving on to D. Nice color. Hopefully this is like a. Hopefully Pranny sent me like a 50-year-old Scotch. That would be something, man. That would be insane. We kiss the ground if you sent me something like that. It's a small bottle, so this must be some good stuff, maybe. I don't know. The E bottle is huge. This bottle is tiny. Maybe this is like his. I don't know. We'll see. Color is really nice. Look at that brown that is. I hope it's not like E150 out the ass. We talked about the E150A. Oh, Lordy. Please keep it away. All right. So we got India, we got Sweden, and we got not a whiskey, but we're not sure where it's from. So we got Taiwan, USA, and Scotland left. Could switch it up, India with the Taiwanese. We'll see. Huh. Another floral wonder. So D, we got floral notes. It's like it's so overwhelmingly floral. I'm trying to get some fruit out of it. I do enjoy a gin and tonic and a healthy squeeze of fresh lime. Yeah. If I have a tonic though, vodka tonic is where it's at, my friend. Huh, this one might have a little nutty profile on the back end. Now I'm getting some sweetness. Ooh. I think the air is helping this one a lot because now we've gone from floral to fruity. It's a little runny. Oh, I like that nose. Some fruity and nutty profile, maybe. We got floral, fruity, nutty. Huh. Space-sidey almost. This could be a Scotch, maybe. We'll have to see, though. Seems a little thin, but we'll see. It's nice. Nice. Definitely doesn't have a bourbon-esque feel, so I don't think it's USA unless he picked a non-bourbon USA. He could have done that. Very nice, sweet profile. Nice finish too. Wow. Finish is good. Scotch-esque. I think this might be our Scotch. If it is a Scotch, it's going to be definitely a Speyside, I'm thinking. Is the fruit profiles there? And it might actually be, it might not be more than 15, but I think it might be a 15-year-old Scotch, maybe. I really like that profile in the nose. Huh. At first, I got floral notes, like pow in the face. And after I let it sit out for a bit, it's definitely expanded. Huh. After I do the last one, it's going to be easier to figure out, I think, what's what. But wow, this is good. I'm thinking this is the Scotch because, man, I love Scotch. It's a little hot, which is nice, too. It's definitely above 40, 43. It's probably 46%, I'm thinking. I can't tell the age, though. It's a little dark. I can't tell if it's colored dark or if it's naturally dark. It definitely has a really nice, well-rounded taste. It's definitely, I think, 46%. I'm guessing it's at least 12, if not 15-year-old. I'll say 12 to 15. It's like a nice, like Ballblair has a really nice heavy fruit profile, but this is beyond that. This has got the fruit, but it also has a really nice caramely apple fruit profile. What is like that? I'm trying to think of what have I had that's like this. That's a tough one. It's definitely whiskey. That's really nice. I want a bottle of this D. This D is like, I'm gonna put a big star around and say Praine. I don't care if this is like the American, bourbon, whatever it is. I want to get more of it. This is good stuff. I'm trying to think of what it could be though. Balvenie, maybe someone most says. Yeah, but it's more hot than a Balvenie. Balvenies are like great flavor, but they're well refined on the alcohol. The alcohol doesn't really ever get there. This has it more in your face. It's a little more prevalent. It's a little more, but it's not like overwhelming, like where I have to have water on it. But I'm gonna put a little water on it and see what happens, man. Because this can definitely take it. It's a higher ABV. It's at least 46%, if not 48%. I guarantee it. Let's see. I think I got some water actually back here. We'll try, our fancy little water thing here, and see if we can get just a couple drops. Let's see what we get out of that, because man, it has a beautiful fruit profile, a beautiful, like, even the alcohol itself, even though it's hot, it's a nice balance. And I love the color. The viscosity is a little thin, but not terrible. I'm thinking it's got to be 46, if not 48%. That's so good. I know I've had this before. That's what's kicking my ass. It's like I know I've tasted this before, and I'm trying to think of what it is, but I can't put my finger on it. I've had this exact whiskey before, and it's so good. And maybe it's a Glenrothes 15 Revival or something. It's the closest thing, but it's not as fruity. This has got more spice in it. What is spicy? It's like a Glendronach, 15. Okay, tell me this, guys. Okay, let's say I say, Lochner says you've had too many drinks tonight to do an accurate blind tasting. Oh man, the D is hot. I love it. It's badass. I want D on a bottle. It's good. Okay, no. If I give you this profile, tell me what bottle you would pick. Okay, and listen up close. It's got the strength of a Glendronach Profile 12 on the fruit, but it's also got an equivalent spicy profile with some cinnamon nutmeggy darkness, some brown sugar, and I think it's between 12 and 15 years old. What am I thinking of? Tell me what it is. There's got to be somebody. I don't think it's Four Roses. I would like get the corn out of it if it was a bourbon. That's for sure. If this isn't to be an American, man, I might have to switch over and do some American whiskeys because this is damn good. Um, hmm. Jacques, I would say for bourbon, man, Eagle Rare 10 is always good. Elmer Tilly, if you can find it, is always good. It's a tough one. Ben Romick. I haven't had their Imperial. I've heard that's really good, and that's a cast strength. Glendronach cast strength is in the same realm as this, maybe. That's got to be what he's got something special here. It's really good. I'm thinking this is the Scotch. It probably is at least 48%. As I said 46. So I'm going to bump it up to 48, and I'm going to say it's like 12 to 15 years, and it's most likely the Scotch. I'm thinking. I think it's where we're going to go. I love this. Yeah, Martili, who can get that? Yeah, that's true. My mom's looking for it. Mom's probably gone by now, but she was trying to find some for my stepdad Dave. So it's a tough find. It for a reasonable price. I mean, you can pay $150, $200 for it, but you know, bourbon is getting to the point where it's out of control. Like for $30, $40, come on. Cheers, Telex and all. I'll pick up a few bottles from the start. Yeah. Elijah Craig's a good one. I would stay away from the Old Forester. That's just me. But the Four Roses is always good. Elijah Craig. Woodford Reserve is good, I think. You know. If this is the Indian one or the Taiwanese like Kavalan or something, I'm gonna be like, you got to be kidding me. It very well could be though. But man, that's a good whiskey. That D is spot on my favorite so far. So let's move D out of the way and do the E and call this a night, man. It's already almost 1 in the morning. Thank God I told I work tomorrow. All right. Let's do E. Palate cleanse time. Yeah, DHS is already up to 150, which is crazy, ridiculous prices. This is not worth it. So, but that's where the good stuff is. Blanton's is another good one to look up for. 1792, I think they call it. That's a good one. Anyway, all right. E. Hopefully, this will tell me if that second one's Swedish and where the C is from. That's the plan. That is the plan, Stan. Let's see what we get here. All right. They're the one that doesn't have any legs from the beginning. It holds its shape really well still and then drops really slow. Hmm. Does not smell like a bourbon or a scotch. Could be off though. It's got to be a whiskey of some sort, I would think, because I know that C was not a whiskey. I don't think it was, unless he was pulling out White Walker or something crazy. He could have done that shit. Pranny, if you pulled out some White Walkers, damn you. That stuff was nasty, man. Oh, okay. This does not smell like scotch or whiskey, but we'll see what happens here. Hold on. Let's do a profile deal. Floral notes are off the bat again. Jeez, man. They're killing me with this florals. This is definitely more on the floral herbal area. I'm not getting anything. I mean, Pranny, you could at least give me some peat, for God's sakes. Yeah, sake. Oh God, Santa, that would be bad. I'm not a big fan of sake. Rice whiskey, not for me, my friend. I'm all about the malt barley. If it's corn, I don't want it. If it's gin, I don't want it. If it's anything else besides malted barley, I don't want it. Makes it simple. This has got a strange nose. Huh. So light. It's like it's hard to get anything else besides a floral and herbal essence coming from the deal. Let's give it a little cover here. Hey, Loch thanks for stopping by, my friend. I know it's a long journey, and I appreciate you, sticking by. A barrel aged vodka. Huh. It's funny because this could be the. I think it is a whiskey. I don't think it's. I think it's either going to be the between USA and Taiwan. Man, my God. It's such a different profile. This is not Scotch, I don't think. This might be USA. This could be USA. But that would mean that gin was Taiwanese, but I don't think that would be the case. Huh. I'm thinking the USA is probably the gin. And that would make this one Taiwanese. Now, the tough thing is you guys taught me that the Kavalan, which is a great profile, great taste, is actually not Indian, but Taiwanese. So this does not remind me of a Kavalan, but are all Taiwanese whiskeys like Kavalan? Probably not. This is a tough one. This could be the Indian, and the first one could be the Taiwanese. It was such like a Paul John though. Fudgeroo. Man, that's a tough one. Okay, so just to round things out here before we have to cut her off here, because I do have to work tomorrow. I got a fruity. It's very fruit heavy, Paul John-esque nuttiness. I think it's 46%. I think it's a whiskey. It had spicy notes, a dry finish, and it was medium to thin build, probably around a 12-year-old. And I guess it might be Indian. B, floral, grainy-ish, like greenish, subtle, hay straw. God, I wish I could read my own scroll scratch here. Thin, very young, had some marshmallow, spiced pear, light fruits, a bit different than a lot. So I'm thinking it might be Swedish. But then C is definitely not a whiskey. It was straight watercolored. I think it was gin because it had juniper, herbal meat. Just didn't have herbal, medicinal kind of a note, mint, that kind of thing. D, floral, fruity, nutty, sweet finish is good. I think it was a Scotch, 12 to 15 years, 48%. I think that was a home run on that one. D was great. E, I got the floral herbal in the nose. The nose I couldn't really get out really far. So light and airy. Tell me this, guys. This will nail it for me. Are Taiwanese whiskeys more airy and floral and light effervescence, or is that more of an Indian thing? Let me know. I think that will determine. The Swedish thing is throwing me way off. This could be the Swedish one, and the Swedish one could actually be the Taiwanese deal. Are Taiwanese or Swedish whiskeys have like light fruits, very young tasting, spiced pear, marshmallowy, thin. Nutty is American. Well, that A might be American then. So it's that first one with the fruit heavy, but it's American fruit heavy. That's where I thought it might be Indian. Spicy notes, dry finish. Man, I could swap the A for American and move the E American. This doesn't taste like any American whiskey I've ever had, though. That could be the Swedish one for all I know. Man, the Swedish one's really throwing me off. Malty in character. I think this last one is the Swedish one then. Because it has like that kind of aspect to it. It's very malty, floral, herbal. Malty, floral, herbal. So let's say E is that. Then B is the greeny. That's going to be probably the USA. Maybe the gin is Swedish. He could have thrown me a curveball on that one. So maybe the A, the fruit heavy, Paul John-esque, nutty, whiskey, 46%, spicy notes, dry finish, medium to thin profile, 12-year-old-ish, is Indian. B, I'm thinking is floral, greenish, subtle hay, not a Scotch, thin, very young, marshmallowy, spiced pear, light fruits is USA. C, not a whiskey, gin, juniper, herbal, medicinal, mint is probably Swedish. D is floral, fruity, nutty, sweet finish, good Scotch, probably 12 to 15 years, 48% ABV, I'm thinking. And then E is floral, herbal, malty, Swedish, I'm thinking. That C can't be Swedish then. Okay, hold on. So we got Swedish, Scotch, that'd be Taiwanese. But do the Taiwanese do gin? Is that possible? Absolute gin, maybe Swedish gin. Yeah. Okay, so if that's Swedish, Scotch, USA, India, this has got to be, the bottom's got to be Taiwanese, I'm thinking. No, but that's got to be Swedish. Damn it. Such a tough call. Taiwanese on the bottom, maybe. I'm probably so far off, but it could go so many ways here. This is a tough one. I'm thinking the A has got to be Indian, B has got to be USA. C is definitely not a whiskey. I'm thinking it's Swedish. Probably the absolute gin that you're talking about. I mean, it could be USA too. That's what's tough. I mean, you're right. Whiskey Scout. It's such a tough. I think it's either Swedish or it's American. I think he went Swedish gin, though. I really do, for some reason. I don't know why. But I think I've got some of these wrong. I think I've got two wrong, probably. But I think I'm going to call it, because yeah, I think I'm going to call it A, fruit heavy, Paul John-esque, nutty, whiskey, spicy notes, dry finish, medium to thin profile, 12-year-old, probably Indian. A. B, floral, greenish, subtle hay, straw, subtle, thin, very young, marshmallow, spice, pear, light fruits. I think that's USA, but this is tough. I'm probably off on that one because I can't think of a USA whiskey that's going to have that profile to it. C, not a whiskey, gin. It's juniper, herbal, medicinal, mint. I'm guessing Swedish, but it's probably American. Maybe I have to switch those. USA with Sweden. Because that is such a weird... Who said the multi-profile on the Swedish, though? Maybe that's Sweden. And that's Taiwanese. Maybe the B is Taiwanese. And the C is USA. Okay. Scotch is D, definitely. It's the best tasting thing of all of them. And E, we're going to say, is Swedish. Because it's such a different profile. I'm not used to tasting it, which would make sense. I never had Swedish whiskey. So, got India, Taiwan, USA, Scotch, Sweden. India, Taiwan, USA, Scotch, Sweden. That's got to be it. That's what I'm going to answer it that way. I'll send him an email and see what he says. Hopefully that's right. I'm probably way off. I probably should have stuck with my instinct, but after fine-tuning everything and thinking about what the profiles are, I'm thinking that it's close, but we'll see. Well, thanks so much for stopping by, guys. It's been a couple hours, and I got to get to work tomorrow, so got to cut it short. Salute to everybody. Salam and I will put in comments how far off I was. Thanks, Prenny, if you're watching. Good to see you, Lee G. You know who you are. Stephen Connor. I will send something salsa out as soon as possible. It's been crazy, and I think that catches everything up for now, at least. Cheers, Kenneth, and everyone else that stopped by. Give me a thumbs up if you don't mind before you leave. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Appreciate it. And hope to see you guys soon.